Today on Conversations That Convert, we're continuing our series on wanting more and better high quality leads in your local market. We're working on part 3 today and how to attract people that already live in your market or are moving to your market that are looking for your services.
Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Every week, we'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes tackling relevant lead generation, marketing, and sales topics for remodelers, home improvement companies, and home builders. Conversations That Convert is brought to you by Builder Lead Converter, your perfect sales assistant. And now, here's Rick and Daiana.
Hey everyone, welcome to Conversations That Convert. Daiana, how are you doing today?
Very well. Welcome everybody. Good to see you all.
You're looking lovely as ever, and I understand we have another fun segment today. What are we talking about?
Today, if you want more and better leads, all you have to do is to don't run ads, and we need to do something instead, and we will find out today what to do.
Exactly right. Now, I say fun. This is not so much fun, especially if you're struggling to find high quality leads. And it is, lead flow has definitely slowed down from the last probably 24 months here. We're in the second quarter now, beginning of second quarter of 2025. So there is no quick fix to this. We're going through this series and really we're trying to answer the question, are ads the best way to find high quality leads? And we are giving you several alternatives to ads. Ads have their place, they have their time. But we're looking at doing some things that are a little bit more effective instead of ads. So this is part 3, and this is finding and attracting those high quality people that are already living in your market and looking for your services. So this means if you're a remodeler, kitchen remodeler, they're looking for you, or a custom home builder, looking for someone actually looking for your services. So what do you say, Daiana? Should we jump into this?
Let's go ahead and get started. So,
all right. So first of all, some definitions. Yeah. What do we got here, Daiana?
So first, curious to find out what are inbound leads.
I think it's important for us to define our terms. In this case, inbound is simply saying that people are looking for you. It's an inbound lead. Versus outbound is when you run an ad, you are looking for your next lead. So it's called interruption marketing versus permission marketing. Permission marketing is they're looking for you and they're giving you permission to follow up on them, usually some sort of an offer or an exchange of information, is where opt-in or permission-based marketing comes from. So when we go to ads, we're talking interruption marketing. So I think the easiest way to describe what interruption marketing is, or what the difference is between the inbound and outbound, is a billboard or a sign. So we've all seen them. We're driving down the road and there is a billboard in the road and it is interrupting our drive, meaning that the billboard could be advertising for anything out there, and it is interrupting our glaze on the road as we are driving our car to look at that sign. And the idea is like, oh, I would like to buy this because it reminded me this is a product or service that I'm after. So it's a very, very expensive way. Outbound is very expensive and it's very low conversion. Whereas inbound is, it's less expensive. It still does cost some money, but the conversions are much, much higher. So I think that's a good, that's a good start. Now, 2 things to look at from these people: either they're already living in your market or they are considering moving to your market. So one thing to factor in, if you are in an area that has a lot of what we call in-migration. So Daiana, that's simply people that are moving into the area. Every single municipality has migration trends. So there are people moving out, there are people moving in, there are people that are being born there and then forming households. And so that's what we're looking for as home builders and remodelers. We're looking for household formation, because when households form, there's a purchase, and then oftentimes there is either a new home to be built, or there is a home that needs some remodeling help, some services. So from that perspective, these are people that are again looking to live in your local market. Now, inbound migration patterns are going to vary across every municipality. There are some municipalities that have a higher propensity for people moving into the market than say moving out of the market. So that means they have a net positive in migration. In that case, you need to be attracting people that may be from other parts of the country or even other parts of your state, so different cities. They're looking there. Now, there's also people that are already living there right now, and so you're trying to attract people that are living in that particular area. Now, we'll talk about challenges here as we go forward, but I'd say that the other key part of this, as far as what an inbound or organic lead is that they're already looking for your services. They're already interested in a project versus that analogy I gave of where you're driving down the road. You're not thinking about the every product or service on that billboard. It just interrupts you and it sort of forces you to think about it. So it's a very low conversion rate. Whereas somebody that's already interested in your services is a very high conversion rate. Typically, it's a high quality lead. Any thoughts there, Daiana?
Yeah, so it's good to define terms and make sure you have more inbound leads than outbound, right? So they are looking for you and you are not begging for a work.
That's a good point. Outbound leads, again, where you are advertising, you're out looking for clientele. There is a place and time for that. Too often it gets placed too high in the priorities, and there's too much emphasis and investment in it with too low of results. So there's a lot of frustrated builders out there that have spent a boatload of money on outbound leads and just haven't yielded the results. So we'll talk about that in a future episode, but for right now, we're talking about people actively looking for you.
So second, what makes a lead organic?
So organic is this term that you may or may not have heard of. So when you do a search, say let's just use Google because Google has about 90% of the search volume in the United States and very similar to that in Canada. Normally people are going to Google, and when you do a search, you're going to get really 4 types of results. So the newest one, the latest one, is Google has this thing called Gemini AI, which is an AI search result. So you're going to see some sort of an AI search result of what Google Gemini AI, their platform, thinks is a relevant answer to that. Then you're going to see a map search, especially if you're searching by location, which most people who are interested in remodeling their home or building the home, they're going to do a location search. So think of a location search as simply the name of your municipality or locale along with the type of service they're looking for. So in this case, it might be Phoenix home builder, Phoenix custom home builder, Phoenix kitchen remodeler, that sort of thing. So that's going to be a local search. And then the third type of results you're going to get is going to be the paid. So the paid results or the sponsored results. Now, the fourth type at the very bottom of the results is the organic results. And the organic results are simply what Google thinks is the most relevant 10 answers to your search term. So if I go back and I use the term Phoenix, Arizona kitchen remodeler, Google is going to deliver what they think are the 10 most relevant kitchen remodelers around the Phoenix, Arizona. Now in this organic search results. Now the map results above and the organic results can be the same, but oftentimes they are different. Now you want to be ideally in both areas in the top 10, but sometimes you can only be in one, especially when you have a very high search keyword search term like Phoenix, Arizona, a very large municipality. So there's lots of different search terms you can go after, but really what we're talking about is that you're showing up in what Google thinks is the most relevant top 10 answer. So you've heard that term page 1 of Google. Well, that's what page 1 of Google means. The top 10 most reliable or relevant builders that match those keyword phrases. So any thoughts on that, Daiana?
So it's good to be in the first top 10 and have more organic to be listed in organic search than to to show up as paid, because what they are doing, they see paid, sponsored, and then they will move to the next organic link.
That's right. Yes. And people know, and think about your own search habits too. We all do this. We skip over the paid. And the reason is because we've been burned by the paid, meaning that we have clicked on that sponsored ad before. We realized that that was just one entity that maybe didn't really have the best match or wasn't the most relevant for my keyword search. I clicked on it. I was burned. Okay, lesson learned. I'm not doing that again. So more often than not, we're skipping over the paid. We're going right to the organic. Now we'll talk about paid in a future episode. There is a place for it, but again, it's just not nearly as valuable.
All right, next, why are they so valuable, the organic search?
Yeah, so I go back to lead conversion. So when we go back and we look at what lead sources deliver the highest converting types of leads, and it's always referral. Okay, so when you have a business partner, say a business-to-business referral, or you have a past client or current client that refers somebody to you, those are the types of leads that are going to have the highest conversion rates. Hands down, doesn't matter where you operate, what type of price points you operate in, the types of services you offer, referral leads always, always, always convert the highest. Now, the question is why? Because it all comes down to trust and value. When you have a relationship that you've developed with a partner, and let's just call them a referral partner, could be business to business or could be past client, and you've developed that trust and value for your services. They are happy with the results. They trust you as a service provider, and they're willing to recommend you. When they provide that recommendation to a friend, family, coworker, or neighbor, that trust that you established with them is instantly transferred because they already have a relationship. So here's the difference in when you have a sign call lead that has no trust or value versus a lead that was referred to you where the trust and value was conveyed from your client to the new lead, the referee. The difference is when you have a sign call lead where there's nothing established between you, typically they're going to ask you a question like, what's your price per square foot, or how much for this? Or it's very much a right down to business type call. When you get a referral lead, the lead will simply say, Daiana, you built a home for Rick. He said you did a great job. He was really happy with you. He told me that I should talk to you about building a home. Is that something you could help me with? And then it's completely different because trust and value have already established. So let's go back now. Why are organic inbound leads, people searching for your services in your location, why are they so valuable? Is because they trust the Google results. Okay, so it's the equivalent to a referral. So they trust those top 10 organic results or those map search results, not necessarily the sponsored results as we talked about, but they trust the organic results. So it's like getting a referral from a friend, and you can see the data, Daiana. You can look at the people that find you from an organic search and the amount of engagement time and the time they engage with your website, how many leads are captured, the number of pages visited on your site. It's hands down, it's probably 3 or 4 times more than say a paid search. Any thoughts on that, Daiana?
Yeah, so it's Google is acting like a trusted advisor. So if you are in top 10 organic, then they will trust that Google provides high credible value.
Yep, exactly. And that's what it's all about, is again, at least giving the perception that you are the most relevant result. And this leads us to our last question.
And why are organic leads so hard to obtain, to be there in top 10?
You could, if you said you wanted to be a sponsored ad on Phoenix Kitchen Remodelers, is the example that I just do, you could be doing that today. You go out and you get a Google Ads platform and you run your ads and say, hey, these are the services and this is the locations I want to go for, and you're paying money and they'll put you right up there today. If you want to get there organically, that's a completely different story. Number one, it takes a lot of time. And the higher the search volume, in other words, the more coveted the search phrase, the harder it is to rank. Now, why is that? Well, number one, there's lots of competition. you have lots of builders that have been doing this for a long time. And Google is all, again, about relevancy. It's all about what have you done for me lately? So those builders that have been actively engaged in search engine optimization, and they've had a URL or a domain name that's been around for many years, where they have a really robust website that's full of good content, and it's put together correctly, where it's checking all the boxes for Google, where it's saying, yes, this has great content. The website is optimized properly for mobile. It's optimized properly for PC. It's got a great mix of keywords and readable content, as well as imagery, so on and so forth. You're checking all the boxes. Over time, it's like chipping away at ice. Over time, you just keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away, and you slowly will rank higher and higher and higher. But here's the problem. You really can't do this on your own. And the reason I say that is that you have to really have a reputable firm that understands search engine optimization, that understands Google algorithm, and most importantly, understands the business, understands the home building and remodeling business. There are, for every one really good firm out there, there's probably 50 that are scammers when it comes to SEO. And without getting too deep in the weeds with SEO, there is white hat SEO, there is gray hat SEO, and there is black hat SEO. So let's look at it this way. White hat is where you're doing everything on the up and up, and you're doing it the right way, the way Google wants it to be done. That is, it's kind of like going on a diet and exercising and just being really strict and doing the things you need to do in order to get the results you're after. Takes a long time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of discipline, but over time you will get results. Then there's gray hat SEO. That's where you're not really doing things on the up and up, and you're maybe doing a little cheating. And then there is black hat SEO, which is where you can get really quick results, but it is not a matter of if Google will figure out that you're doing something to scam them. It's when. And when they find out, you're going to get blacklisted. So if you go out and you hire some firm that says, hey, I'll get you on page 1 of Google organic results tomorrow. There are things you can do through black hat SEO that will get you there. But it is only a matter of time before you're going to get caught. And once you get caught, you will get blacklisted by Google, which simply means your site won't show up at all anymore. They will put you to the bottom of the rankings. And by the way, Daiana, the amount of people that look at the search results from page 2, it's something, I think it's less than 5%. I mean, so it's like if you're not in the top 10, you're not there. So there's you just got to be very, very careful with that. You hire a reputable firm that understands the business, understands what your competition is doing, how to work around that competition to get you some results sooner than later. And then most importantly, it just understands the algorithm. The Google algorithm is always changing, always looking for ways to make improvements, and dealing with this fast changing world of search engine optimization. So final thoughts from you, Daiana.
Yeah, so I think it's important to just follow the steps and keep it, let's say, ethical and organic. So then be patient, and with time you will be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? Here's something else, is that if you have a well-optimized website and your URL has been around for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, meaning you've had the same domain name, you're going to get some authority just from having that. So if you're a younger company, and what I mean by younger, I mean your company's been around less than 5 years. If you haven't really done things right up to that point, you can change things around pretty quickly if you follow the prescriptive path, just because you've had that time. But when you're starting out brand new, say less than 2 years, you've got to do everything right. And it takes time. You got to be patient with it. You can get there sooner than later, but it is a constant battle, and you're going to win some and you're going to lose some, but it's just one of those things that you just continue week in, week out, month in and month out, working towards getting into those key search phrases that your local clients are after, your services and your service area. So hopefully that was helpful to everyone. And if you would like to schedule your call today and find out how we can help you attract, capture, and convert high quality leads for builders so you too can pick and choose your clients and jobs, go ahead and click that button right below. Love to talk to you about your company and see if we might be able to help you. Again, backlog your work, and have 6, 9, 12 months of business where you can pick and choose your future jobs. So for my brothers and sisters in Christ, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all always. We'll see you next time on Conversations.